we gave an awareness on asthma care and respiratory therapy management. And like those that went, that tested the fact that it was fun. So I know that we might have easily started to this before, guys. If you're outside aquarium, we have events like this, and you're not around, guys, you're missing a lot. But all the same, we would share our pictures on Instagram, so you can like our page, Instagram, you can like our pictures, and you can also follow us so that you'll not be left out. Um, let's see, is our does anybody have anything to say about that before I call on our guest curator to speak with us? Anybody? Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Right. All right. Thank you. So we'll be waiting for our guest. Like and Elizabeth Johnson is a doctor in training, and she's going to be speaking with us on building a culture of excellence. Why she chose this topic, I don't know, and why she feels it's important, I still don't know. But we hope to gain more from her. Please let's hand over to Miss Elizabeth Johnson as she starts the session. Please, can you welcome her with claps and everything as she starts? Thank you. So I guess there's a brief technical issue with curator at our end there. So just give us some few minutes to be able to meet up and join the call.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please confirm if you can hear me well. I'm sorry, I think my network was bad, so I couldn't really hear what was going on prior this time.
Good
Please, can you hear
afternoon.
me?
Good afternoon. Can hear you.
Good
All
afternoon.
right,
I can hear you. Yeah.
thank you very much. I wanted to say thank you for this opportunity, and not to waste so much of our time. I'll be going right into it. I think I've been introduced before coming on board. I'm Elizabeth Johnson. Yes, the director for Pioneer Medical Initiative Ilefe. So I'll be sharing my screen because I kind of prepared a slide, though not just like a briefing, but to carry us along to help us flow with my line of thought. So charger tó wà bẹ́ẹ̀ mo yọ kúrò mo dẹ̀ mú ilé tí ó mọ̀ pé wọ́n kọ́ change charger ṣe já mo yọ charger kan sí ibi tó ti ká padà charger black. Okay, so I'm sorry for the background noises that we might be hearing. I'm in like an academic environment, and so people might be passing here and there. So I apologize for that. Okay, before my slides load, I think I should just continue. So I was speaking about building a culture of excellence, unleashing the power within, building a culture of excellence, unleashing the power within. I don't know why this slide's not coming. Okay, I'll begin with this quote by Aristotle. All right, so ready. Can we see my slide, please? I think it's okay. Yes, can we see my slide? Can we see my slide, please? Hello, is anybody with me? Can you hear me? Can you see my slide?
Yes, I can see your slide. I can see your slide.
All right, thank you. So I'm beginning with this quote from Aristotle that excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of a high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. You know, I think that that pretty kind of summarizes a lot about what I'll be talking about today. However, excellence, the three components that he spoke about in this quote are very essential in driving home this topic, excellence, building culture of excellence, right? He says high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. All right. So intention alone is not enough to drive home, to build the culture of excellence and to get the results that um, being consistently excellent gives. Rather is sincere effort alone enough. You know, if the effort that is being put is not organized, if it's not a well-informed effort, it might as well be wasted effort because it's not just enough that you're putting in sincere effort. You have to be putting in a well-informed high intention and intelligent, and whatever you are executing has to be intelligently executed. Like, let me even give an example. Like in this age now, a person wants to do go into commercial farming, and then he gets to the farmland and gets, let's say, a number of people, let's say 20 men, and gives them cutlasses and tells them to start, clearing the bushes and everything. As much as those 20 men will be putting a lot of effort into that, they have a good intention, they have an intention, want to clear this farmland in, I don't know how many hectares we say now, but let's say a large expanse of land in, let's say, 2 weeks. So if they are really are intention and they are putting in the sincere effort, what is lacking in that equation is intelligently executing what they intend to do. And so in the end, they will be putting so much effort, and compared to somebody else that is well informed, and so he has an intention, he sincerely wants to put the effort, but he's not intelligently executing it. And how does he do that? Get mechanized farming, you know, get a system of like tractors and all of these other guys. He won't even need as much as 20 men to clear the farmland, and then it will not take him as much time. So in the end, he has saved time, he has saved resources, and he's going to, you know, the result of all his efforts is going to yield much more because he decided to combine these three ingredients, let me call them now, and in building, in achieving his goal, right? So the second quote is by Vince Lombard. Which says a the quality of a personal life is the direct proportion to their commitment to excellence, regardless of their chosen field of endeavor. Sorry for the typographical errors that we have here. Um, so it says the quality of a person's life, the how much the person is going to enjoy personal fulfillment in their life is a direct proportion to their commitment, their individual commitment to excellence, regardless of their chosen field of endeavor. Like it doesn't even matter whatever field the person is, an excellent person or excellent person, take the person away from that field that he is and take him into another field. Excellence is a culture, excellence is a lifestyle that always reflects wherever a person goes. As we see um as we go on, that excellence is not just what you do once in a while. It hasn't really become a culture if you are not consistently doing it. Let's say that um for let me use this example because I believe the number of us here might be students. Let's say for you registered for a course and then there is no exam. There's not going to be an exam for that. There's not going to be um an assessment, any sort of assessment. How many people would still put as much effort as they would, if there were going to be an assessment? That speaks to, the level of commitment to that thing, and how much of excellent thinking that we have ingrained in us, that even when nobody is looking, even when there's not going to be an assessment, we still put in our best to whatever we're committed to. Okay, so let me run along quickly. Okay, so the definitions now be taking. I said culture of excellence. I want to quickly speak to excellence and to culture, and then the culture of excellence as a whole, right? Excellence refers to the quality of being exceptionally good and outstanding in a particular field of or endeavor or an aspect of life. It encompasses the pursuit of high standard and high performance and continuously giving your best. Like that was what I was talking about the other time. That is the act of consistently striving for the best, you know, for a better form of yourself, a better form of, there's this saying, I don't know, that good is the enemy of best. You know, that the fact that you did it once and it was very good does not mean you stop there. Is there a better way to go about this? Because whether we like it or not, the world is evolving. The world is evolving, and there are always better ways of going about things. There are always better ways. So outdoing your outdoing your former self, you know, is what we term excellence. Not even like competing with other people, but outdoing your best, what you refer to as your best, outdoing it every single time. You know, I said excellence is not measured by external recognition or by our achievements, but it can be found in internal satisfaction and fulfillment. The internal satisfaction and fulfillment that we get, when we do our best and put in, you know, that when we put in our best to something that even you yourself you can say that I have put in my best. There's this place where you know that you have reserved no energy. You have put in your absolute best in achieving that thing. That is what we say excellence. And culture, we know the popular definition, I think from primary school. Culture talks about like the way of life of a people, the person. Culture is the way of life. Like that is how you know to do. That is your own normal. You know, that is what our culture is. So combining both definitions, in simple terms, it means outdoing yourself, or like as a norm, or um performing excellently, or having that sense of outstanding, always striving for the best as the culture, as a norm, regularly, consistently. That is what the culture of excellence simply mean. In my definition, I said culture of excellence refers to an organizational or societal or environmental or personal practice of consistently striving for the highest standard of performance, quality, and achievements in all aspects of operation. Right. So it means that I brought in the organization part because, of course, we are here because we all belong to, we are all creators in one level or the other in Pioneer Medical Initiative. And so it refers as an organization, it refers to, you know, as an organization consistently striving for our highest standard of performance, and and then for as an individual also, giving our best in whatever we put our ends into, at every point in time in our lives. Right. So let me move quickly from here. So I'll be talking about the key elements of a culture of excellence. The key elements, like the key, what does culture of excellence really entail? The first one, purpose and meaning. Okay. So purpose answers the question, who am I? What am I doing here? Like you know, just having that sense of clarity as to who you are and what you are doing part time, having a clear sense of purpose as to, your own life, and to, there's this saying, is it a quote now by Miles Monroe, that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. But let's look at the flip side of that. When the purpose of a thing or of a person is known, their maximal performance is inevitable. Max, because like when you wake up today, you know the things that are sitting on your table for you to do, or at the end of this month, you know the goals that you have set before you. You know what you are here for. You know your life is directed and targeted towards you. You're not about everything. You're not about everything. But the few things that you have committed to, you are seeing to it that you are giving your best, maximum best to those things. You don't have to do everything. In fact, when you're doing everything, it shows that you don't know what you're here for yet. Because a high sense of purpose, a clear sense of purpose would help you to will narrow your path, and help you to give your best energy to a targeted field or some spheres, not to everything. So when an individual has an high sense of purpose and meaning to their lives, they would have to build a culture of excellence. You know. Then the other thing, high performance focus. Individuals whose thinking, is always that I'm always gonna be bringing my best to the table. That high performance focus, like no matter where I am, no matter what field I get to, I'm always going to be putting my best to the table. They build a culture of excellence around their life, because there's no how you can achieve high performance consistently if you don't have if you haven't built a culture of excellence around your life. And this thing we're talking about, like everyone around you will see it. It's not something that can be hidden. It's seen in everything, in the like minute things, because you care about how your day will go. You don't want to waste time in certain things, so you put your room in order. So like even in things that do not directly relate to fulfilling your goals, but in the end you know you would you be an organized person. You be an organized person. Leadership and a clear sense of vision. The best form of leadership is leadership by influence. So when a person has this um I principle, and then this thought that I am a leader, I am, leadership is not positional. It is like that mindset, that I am a leader, and so it influences everything that you do, you know. And then a clear vision about where you're going, about your path in life, embracing change, challenges, and growth. Yes, if as a person that has a culture of excellence, you embrace changes, and if you are going to be embracing changes, that means you constantly have to learn new things. That means you constantly have to break through barriers, because there is no, you growth will not be seen if you are not consistently breaking new grounds. Like there is no, how would I call it now? Growth will not really be achieved if you are not consistently learning, unlearning, relearning, breaking new barriers, learning about fields that are not even, about things that do not even directly, relate to you at that time, just to expand your horizon, right? Pioneer mentality. I intentionally included this one because we're talking about why in Pioneer Medical Initiative, but it's just that mindset of a trailblazer. What is the You're always asking yourself, what is the maximum achievable in this field? What is the maximum achievable in this course? What is the maximum achievable? And so you are always driving yourself. You have the mentality, continuous learning and development. I already talked about that. Accountability and performance management. Yeah. So to help an individual, even people with culture of excellence, we have to have a high sense of accountability. Yeah, either accountability partners or accountability as an organization. You're accountable to your team lead, you're accountable to your director, you're accountable at different levels. You are not beyond corrections. When you have that kind of mindset that I am accountable, I can always be called to correction, I can always be called to order. Then collaboration and teamwork, I mean to, right? Collaboration, you work with people, there's this adage in Yoruba now that I wanted to say. I don't know how to phrase it in English now. I think the way they put it is "igi kan ò ń dá igbó ṣe," so something like that. So it's just that um thinking that you need others, and so you are not, um because you are building a culture of excellence does not mean, and I already talked about continuous learning. You don't do this learning on your own. Yeah, some learnings cannot be gotten on the internet. Some you have to reach out to men, you have to reach out to people, you have to interact, collaboration, you have to collaborate with others to achieve a greater goal, you know and then teamwork. Even in our organization, we need teamwork. Okay, so positive impact it can have on an individual engagement, productivity, and overall performance. Um, so the first one would be a clear goal and direction. We talked about this before. When so for a purposeful person, as I said earlier, um, amongst the key ingredients, a clear goal as to this is what I want to achieve. For a person with a culture who has built in a culture of excellence, you know, the impact that you should have on that person is always you would have a clear goal as to what am I working on now? What am I? So you are not frivolous, you know. At every point in time, you know what you want from life, and that is it. Simple. You always know what you want from life, and you are always going for it. Increase self satisfaction and actualization of goal. The other time I was saying that in excellence, it's not just when there are grading or when there is some sort of assessment for your individual actualization and self satisfaction, that cannot be gotten anywhere else. We all have these potentials in us, lying latent. But when we begin to move and begin to put our best, and begin to do, so it might be stressful, but you are giving your best. And so you are tired but fulfilled. That kind of thing. Of course, we always take time to relax to avoid burnout. But you just have constantly have this sense of self satisfaction and actualization of your goals, even long term goals, personal growth and development. This cannot be overemphasized because you are continuously learning, and because you're continuously learning, you are continuously growing. You know, in life there is no stopping. Is either you are growing or you are dying. So is either you are giving your brain cells new things to learn, or the brain cells are dying off. Like nature abhors vacuum. That is it, simple. Nature abhors vacuum, and so you have to continuously um, learn to grow and develop. Then career advancement and credibility. Even aside this, I already said that culture of excellence is something that you carry through life. If you have it, if you built it, you carry it through life. And so even in your career, in different parts of your life, you are always advancing. Career advancement and credibility. People can vouch for you, that you are able wherever, even when you are not. You get referrals from people because people know that wherever you are committed to giving your best. And I think that's a good thing to embrace for us all. Positive influence on others. I already said this, and that when you have this culture of excellence as an individual, you begin to influence others because most times leadership is by, in fact, that's I already said before that that's the best form of leadership by influence. You influence people even without knowingness because people are always watching and they are taking notes that you're an excellent person. Yeah, for us as an organization, we're talking about the significance of building a culture of excellence in organizational growth. What's the significance? The first one, there will always be improvement for everybody. You can imagine a team of, let's say, 5 people, and everybody is committed to giving their best. You will do better than a team of 100 people where everyone is nonchalant. And that is what I'm always for. Giving your best, giving your best. Even if there are 3 people on this team, can the three of us give our best? If 3 of us give our best, we'll be achieving results of a 10 man panel or a 20 man panel, right? Because every single person is committed, has a personal sense of commitment to the vision. Attraction and retention of talent. Of course, if um now as an organization, if we are giving our best, if every one of us and we are always having, we are always achieving our goals, we say we want to have an outreach, because everyone is committed to giving their best, we are always doing that. Even, external people outside there would be attracted to what we're doing, and they will want to give their talents and to serve in the organization as well. Reputation and trust, innovation and adaptability, continuous learning and development. Yeah, even as an organization. All right, so I'm talking about the strategy for building a culture of excellence. Okay, so well, okay, all right, I think there was a mix up here. All right. So strategy for building a culture of excellence. I think there was a mix up. I want to quickly check up on that. Um okay. All right. So strategy for building a culture of excellence, which is the first one. Um First one is to set clear expectations and standards. Like, so, if someone is asking, okay, so going from here, how do I build a culture of excellence? The first thing is, what are the things in your life that you are to show up for? What are the various things in your life presently that you are to show up for? And then what are the expectations? What do you have? You can't be living a life without expectations, right? Without goals, without standards. If you don't have a standard before for everything, you accept everything. you know have standards. What do you want from life? Because if you are that's what will be attracted to you, or that's what you attract to yourself. Then culturing a growth mindset. I always tell myself there is nothing that I cannot learn. There is no field that I cannot get into and make waves. Like every because that's like a good um mindset. The principle of expandable brilliance talks about the fact that your mind can take as much as you give to it, and that is what it is. Your mind can take as much as you give to it. Encouraging innovation and risk taking. We're talking about cultural excellence now. For somebody that's not been there before and you want to come up, of course, there'll be a lot of times where you have to go beyond yourself, where you have to, take risks, but then you do it, calculatively, and then expecting the best. Recognizing and collaborating achievements, right? This speaks to organizations. The last point will be for organize. I'm sorry for building culture of excellence in our organization, right? Recognizing the efforts of people. Don't we get this is people come to serve here. It's a non-governmental organization, right? So, as people are giving in their efforts, let's take our time to appreciate one another. This person has done this, person has done that. A public applaud. All of these things will go together to appreciate such persons and encourage others to also give their best. And the last point should be overcoming challenges in building a culture of excellence. Yes. So, how do we overcome? Because I said it the first time. It's like somebody that's been used to, let's say, climbing 4 staircases before getting into an apartment. Now you bring the person to a place where the person has to climb like 15, 15, 15. That's like 45. And there is no elevator or anything. Like, let's just say 15. Initially it's going to be like a daunting task. So how do we overcome such challenges? Because in building a culture of excellence, let's be rest assured that we are going to encounter some difficulty here and there, but having that never giving up spirit is what will keep us going. And yes, that's one of the key ingredients in building a culture of excellence. So overcoming resistance to change. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm missing of something. Okay. So I think I'm missing of something. What I intended to say was how do we overcome um challenges in building a culture of excellence? I don't know if that was what I just said. So the first one is overcoming resistance to change. Are we still with me? Am I are we carried along?
Yes, ma.
Alright, thank you. So the first point is
Yes,
overcoming
ma'am.
resistance. Okay, thank you. Overcoming resistance to change. There is this thing where we just get to certain level and then plateau, and from that moment it feels like I can't move on. That resistance to change, you know we have to overcome that inertia. That and that's like the greatest part. That's the greatest the most difficult part to scale through. If we overcome that first inertia, it will be easier going forward, right? Take the baby step, but take the first step. That's like it. Take the first step, and then the other ones become easier. Then building sustainable practices. In building sustainable practices, that means that you know You don't want to jump from 1 to 100 at once. You want to go from 1 to 2, from 1 to 3 to 5, something that you can sustain. Yes, it's somebody that has not been fasting at all. Let me just give this example. Somebody that has not been fasting at all and says, I want to lose weight. Though fasting is not like the best method of losing weight, but I just want to give this example. And then he says, I want to go on 10 days fasting. That's somebody that has not fasted at all. He obviously will break down before the end of the first day. So instead of that, he could just say, I'm not going to take breakfast today, and then I'm not going to take breakfast and lunch, and then I'm not going to take breakfast, and then till the next day, something like that, you know. Then a strong system of accountability. Yes, I already talked about accountability the first time. And when we are having accountability partners, let it be somebody that you hold in high esteem, somebody that can call you to order, you know, so that the accountability would be effective. All right, I think with this, let me just wrap up by saying I've talked about the culture of excellence. I've talked about the key elements. I also talked about the strategies for building a culture of excellence, and I talked about how to overcome the challenges in building a culture of excellence. And I think with that, I've come to the end of this presentation. If you have any question for me, I'd like to have it now. Thank you very much for your time and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much for sharing with us some of from the island of knowledge. Please, if you have questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'm seeing your comments. Thank you.
Or should Elizabeth ask us questions if we don't have questions?
Yes, I can ask. I'm not sharing my screen again, obviously. So,
Okay, ask questions then. And you can point at anyone to answer, except me.
as I would expect. Okay, so just a simple question. Okay, um, how would I'm going to be asking a practical question. How would we encourage, or how do we move a team? Yes. So let's say strategy and logistics department of Pioneer Medical Initiative is encountering problems with getting full participation of their members. So how do we translate what we have learned about the culture of excellence, either as a team member or as a team leader, to other members of our team? Okay, how do you translate what you have learned here or what you know now about culture of excellence to other members of your team to get their participation or to further you know the productivity and everything, the high performance, their performance basically. I don't know if you get my question. Like strategy and logistics, but I'm just giving an example. Let's say strategy and logistics department of Ile-Ife has not really been active because people are not really responsive. So please advise the leader, the team leader, right, on how to translate what he or she has learned in this digest in order to build a culture of excellence in our team members. Do we get my question? So let me call someone. Do
Yes,
we get
please.
my question?
Yes, yes.
All right. So practical steps, please. But I'm sure I already mentioned one or two things. That's why I can ask that question. So I'll be calling on someone I don't know. Hosting Akin, please could you prefer a solution? Could you please advise the team lead? Are you with us, please?
Sorry, good afternoon. I'm just coming. I don't know what you guys have said
Yes.
though at all. Oh. I don't know. I'm just coming in now.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I think Sherifidin can
Okay,
answer
let
that
me
question
call.
for us.
Yes, thank you. Ahmed Sherifin, are you with us? Okay, let me call. King, King, are you with us?
I think because he's on the road or something.
Oh, okay. Also, can anyone volunteer to answer a question? We already talked about it. I just want you to apply what we have learned in a practical situation. Because, of course, these are practical things. What of Deji? Are you with us? If
I
nobody
think
answers, we just take it as our take home. Okay, you
okay.
wanted to
So
answer.
I think better when we make goals as an organization or when we seem as if when it seems as if we want to do something, we should make sure that we give it the best. Now you know that people are actually looking at us. Now before I can invite someone to attend an outreach or something, they must have seen what I've been doing over time. So let's have been giving my very best. I don't think it will be hard to convince others to join. So the best thing is to give that goal of mine my very well, like to make sure it is properly actualized. Then I can be a positive influence on others and influence people to join the initiative. I think I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, I think you do. I think that was the principle that I was expecting us to like talk about. Principle of influence, how that leadership I kept mentioning that the best form of leadership is leadership by influence. So as the team lead, I would advise the team lead to take off some of the responsibilities, not just give everything to others and delegate everything. Lead them by example. Let them see what it means to have that culture of excellence, and then they will learn. You know, of course, a strong system of accountability too, where every team member is directly accountable to the team lead, and a punishment for a sort of punishment for um continuous indiscipline, you know, would do. That's my thoughts. Thank you for having me this evening. It's been a
Thank you
pleasure.
so much, everyone. Thanks so much,
All right.
Elizabeth. I One of the major things I picked up is my mind can do all things, and my mind can take more than I can ever imagine. I think I wrote it. I dropped it in the messages that your mind can take as much as you give to it, and so it is left to me to give it my very best. And if I give my very best, that means I can do everything, and I can definitely be an excellent person. So I think that is a very key word I've taken, and I hope to make judicious use of it. And I hope to give everything I do my very best, and to stretch myself beyond what I feel I can do. And also, I think another thing is I also learned that I can do many things when I put my mind to it. I think I'm still saying the same thing in various words, but basically that's it. I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining. We were about 16 when we joined. I think we are now 12, but all the same. And say thank you, Possible. Thank you, Blessing. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, Deji. Thank you, King. Thank you, Faith. Thank you, Komile. And thank you, Tosin. Thank you so much for joining the call. And we look forward to seeing you in subsequent digest. Now, one amazing thing is our digest is usually handled by curators, and not just any other kind of curators. These are curators that we studied continuously over the time that they can do these things. And one thing we should always know is wherever we find ourselves, we should always give it our very best also. We don't know when opportunities are knocking, and just, oh, this person is usually very active. Usually those of you that best to talk on the group, hmm, and this is clarion call to you guys, like put in your very best. It might be you this time next month. Yes, you might actually have to be the one to take the next digest. Thank you so much. If a network, like this is the first time I'm actually seeing people really giving us a good turn up. Maybe because it's your director that is handling this, but I'm not handling too much. I'm not handling too much.
Please forgive us. We'll turn up next month.
Okay, you say so. Thank you so much and have a nice time, everyone. And this month we are going to be having live session very soon. So in case you see the flyers, please repost, share, engage our post on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and do have a short time this month. Happy New Month once again, and bye.
Happy New Month. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Messi. Thank you so much. Bye.